Well, good morning, fellow zombies. It's what is it again? 2:25 p.m. on a Saturday, the 25th of October, 2025. Wowzers. A diary of a griever named John Weaver, which is me, is on the air. Dear God help us all. I'm in the midst of homework. We are dealing with still the 1980s, of which I should have been remembering more and more about the political and military crap that was happening around that territory instead of the civilian crap that I was so fond of dealing with. And this one I'll probably send over to my fellow classmates on this particular letter. I gotta love YouTube. Put things on a video, put it in, have it reprocessed so I can have a link and send it over to people left and right, including the professor that I have in the class of HIST116. I remember more landscapes. I remember more of the food, of the attitudes, of domestic issues. That I didn't see the bigger picture beyond our borders, beyond my city's borders, that were about to affect the crap out of us left and right. I can tell them stories concerning about what was like life in the 1980s. I can give them the fictional work or tell them how it was. Sometimes jobs were scarce and we had to fight for food sometimes. We didn't have that much food to give away going on. We still had stories out there trying to give away the food. And the people that actually had the better jobs were actually able to find the food. But we did have giveaways. We did have soup kitchens happening out in deeper portions of Los Angeles. Not the county, but just the city. I never knew what was happening out here in the Antelope Valley because I wasn't privy to it. I was only privy to the San Fernando Valley and its moods and everything else going on, and not to mention the city of Los Angeles that we heard of so many times. And then we get the national news and saying how screwed up we are. We had politicians trying to tell us how great we are and this stuff. It's like trying to see the repeated the 1980s making me sick to my stomach. Yeah, getting out of high school, I did 2 years in college, and I should have learned something. I should have done something. I should have been something. And you know what it was? I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, yeah, I studied some classes in that place. Algebra I sucked at. English still needed working on. And by the time I was getting it up to a level, school said, "Nah, you're out of here. Give you about a year." Well, you could have given me an extra year here to work on the damn grades. Nah, you're not out there yet. It was the math, wasn't it? Or probably the history class I struggled at, concerned about English history instead of American history, which I should have taken. I'd taken a U.S. government class to understand more portions about how politics work, but I didn't have my head in the game concerning about anything beyond my borders. The only thing happening in my borders was gang war. In certain portions of the San Fernando Valley, there was territories you did not cross, but if you did, go through it fast. We had LAPD with the crash units, community response against street hoodlums. Don't ask me who made that damn acronym. Because we've got it in the form of ICE right now. Instead of street hoodlums, they're going to be looking at everybody as a street hoodlum and arresting, hijacking, and throwing people out of the country. Back then, we weren't throwing people out of the country. We were throwing them in a jail, or under the jail anyway. We found out they were involved with what criminals do. Lie, cheat, steal, shoot, murder, drug use, drug selling, terrorizing neighborhoods. You want to see a Hollywood depiction of a back east town, maybe in Chicago or maybe somewhere in New York or somewhere. You would watch the series of Hill Street Blues. It was popular in the 80s. Lasted a few seasons. You can still watch it somewhere, including on YouTube. It'd give you an idea of what back on the East Coast was like, let alone not exactly what LA was like. In the 60s, we had Adam 12 and we had Dragnet. Back then, they weren't as crazy as we thought they were. Cops were a lot more mellower, we thought, back in the 60s. 70s got even worse. We had SWAT. 80s, we had the remake of Adam 12 and Dragnet. Crash and burned in the ratings. But there were other television shows like T.J. Hooker made police work look fantasy. We had Hollywood trying to bolster our self-esteem and different viewpoints of what we were supposed to be and what we really were. Show them as Hollywood fictional characters trying to beat back the world one way or another. Of which I was trying to put it into an artistic, linguistic expression of vocabulary galore. Fuck it. I was trying to write something for him. And yeah, we did use guttural language like crazy at times. And yes, we did have some funky outfits that some people actually wanted to wear. The rest of us like jeans, t-shirts, dress shirts. Yeah, it's when you go to work. Get out of high school, you got to go to work. I changed jeans and t-shirts into dress shirts, ties, dress pants, dress socks, dress shoes that are uncomfortable as hell on your feet. But they called them work shoes, by the way. Throw yourself into retail hell and expect it to survive. Of course, if you wore a company smock, jacket, vest, with your name badge on it, you were part of them. You were part of the workforce. I paid more attention to the domestic issues than I was trying to pay attention to what the hell was happening regarding people getting killed, slaughtered, blown to hell, captured, sold off. The Vietnam War was over. We didn't deal with the Vietnam veterans popping off all that much. Except, of course, if you had something called going postal, where some of those government soldiers turned into government employees, filled out the civil service paperwork, swore an oath. Congratulations, you're part of Uncle Sam's workforce. You're part of the bureaucracy that you fought against, or probably your people that you knew fought against. And now you're part of the process. Today, what's that anymore? We got it torn apart by the same government system we elected back in November 2024, and we're paying the price on it. I'm going to stick it to every damn voter who voted this shit in. Even for the ones who didn't vote this shit in. It's still all our fault. I'm still pissed off about it. I'm peeved. Because I'm going to starve. I'm going to starve because someone else's stupidity at this point over here. I'm not quite sure if my Social Security is going to be coming in next month. I hope so. Like every other people who's dependent upon Social Security handouts. They earned the money. It's their money. It's no one else's but their money. They earned it. Blood, sweat, tears, and everything else. Just to get that paltry existence to last them for the entire existence of their life. Not to mention depending upon government assistance regarding medical aid. We can't depend upon that anymore right now, can we? But back then, we needed it. We were at the mercy of the U.S. healthcare system. It screwed up then as it is now. We were also theoretically at the liberty and safety and security of the unions, who fought like hell to keep jobs and to keep the union alive, no matter what it costed them. Talk to the air traffic controllers. There was a union called PATCO, striking for more benefits, easing up on the stress. They want to do a good job, but they're burning out like crazy. We had airline collisions. We had airlines. Let's say we had more airline issues than we had customer issues. And they're stressing out the airline traffic controllers. Inadequate equipment. Training they had on inadequate equipment, they needed better. They needed bigger airports to deal with. But they also needed more people. They struck for the conditions that they wanted. Reagan fired their ass. Federal employees during that time didn't have the authority or the law to back them up. But we could worry about cruise ships being blown apart or maybe hijacked in the Mediterranean and sent over to other countries. Or let alone tankers on the east side of Africa coming into straits to deliver their supplies and also getting hijacked. That wasn't fun enough. Try having a super tanker up in Alaska spilling all over a town. Exxon Valdez, ring a bell? We were lucky back then in the 80s, it only happened in the 90s and early 2000s, that we had the Gulf of Mexico, not the Gulf of America, but the Gulf of Mexico, bleeding oil all over the damn place. Yeah, when I grew up out of my damn adolescence, while still trying to work my ass off, I was paying attention to the global news these days. Well, those days anyway. Cattlemen strike. Swine flu, bird flu. We didn't have the COVID back then. No, we had AIDS popping out and scaring the crap out of people left and right. And then we had more attacks on the LGBTQ community than ever. When AIDS came out, they were spotlighted and they became targeted. See, I was trying to keep track of the domestic issues instead of how our military issues, our political issues, how we were so impotent after Vietnam. We had the bleed overs from those policies happening into the domestic issues that we still carry today. At least today we're still trying is the operative word, if it's usable, trying to take care of our veterans from wars long ago, up until this point. Are we doing a good job, or have we failed them too? We failed them. Current administration is not helping out. The prior administration was trying to help them out, and let's face it, each other's going to have to take care of each other, because our government has failed us. But in the 80s, did we feel that concerning about the Reagan era? About the Rambo? Or how about we get into the lethal weapon situation? Because I'm feeling we got the lethal weapon and the Top Gun with like Tom Cruise, who thinks he's well, no, not the actual Tom Cruise. But we have a guy who just wanted the need for speed as he flew in an F-18 modified. I feel like he was the greatest pilot ever. All he was a backseat driver. He wasn't even a radar intercept operator. It was nothing. He was just passenger. But he comes across his Top Gun as if he's seen the Tom Cruise movie, both of them, too many damn times. And while I'm hearing everybody else talking about MAGA this, MAGA that, I'm doing compare and contrast concerning about the decades from then compared to now. Who was worse and who was better? We're mutating. We had cancer growing in our system. We didn't even realize what the hell it was until it metastasized into a creature even Ghostbusters with proton packs couldn't even deal with or detonate. You couldn't find a Space Marines coming out and blasting everything to hell in a handbasket? Ripley would have loved that one. course, we could have gotten the spaceways of Star Trek to beam everything else out. Everything would be hunky-dory. Yeah, just blow up the Enterprise and see how the fans dealt with that one. Or let alone prior to that, kill off their own favorite character, a science officer, and see how you deal with the after effects in the number 3 and number 4, 5, and 6 movies. Then after that, you had the Next Generation series to deal with that one. Let alone Star Wars, the missile defense system we had. Bullshit. Contractors are feeding on it like hogs, on the taxpayer money that nothing came out of. No space-based lasers, no satellites to move over to another enemy satellite and blow the hell up. No. No. But we did move over to the space race, to where we had constant shuttle flights into space and building the International Space Station, which is slated to go on another several more years in a crash and burn. If anybody happens to get a piece of that damn thing, don't tell NASA. Just make sure the damn thing's not radioactive. Yeah. I tried to keep track of the space news what was going on. I tried to keep track of the satellite launches we had and the space shuttles. We never even heard about the Russian stealing our own information about the U.S. space shuttle program. They did. They copied the damn thing, modified it, but they only ran it one shuttle flight, and that was it, and everything was canceled because the USSR collapsed. But we had ours going since the 70s, well past 2000, about over 30 years. But even then, it got too damn expensive for us, and we were losing shuttles. One blew up after 73 seconds from the launching pad. Then, maybe about several years later, we had another one tore itself apart because of the heat shields. The tiles were exposing. And they're exposing a danger that ripped the shuttle apart upon injury. Both crews never survived. Every time I keep seeing SpaceX launch their own Starship, they're still losing tiles left and right. They still haven't solved it. They have that much force and that much heat going on the damn tiles. It's no wonder we got a problem. We have to have something else beyond these damn tiles. They've got to find something else. Otherwise, I'm still expecting the damn SpaceX to blow itself up to hell. And they're always like, yay, we blew it up again. Now we get to study something else. Every time NASA lost a ship, when it was testing out earlier versions of Mercury shots going up in space, before they actually had the man go up, they had to make sure the rocket technology was working. And they were like, they're cursing and cussing like crazy. Okay, back to the drawing board. McDonnell Douglas, what the hell did we screw up this time? Apollo came out, different vendors, different aerospace companies. And we had to make sure that the Apollo didn't blow up. No, but it just burns up inside of a test area when they're trying to do a plugs out test. We lost 3 astronauts in that time. But after that, we didn't lose a single astronaut after that. They were keeping tabs on everything. They had to. They fought and won the political warfare of space war against the Russian. But we didn't have the support, we didn't have the financial backing, and the program died up. In place, they used Apollo equipment for Skylab for testing, and all that time they were still trying to get the International Space Station working. Space shuttle working, then they get the space station. Now we got to depend upon civilian work. See, this is the information I kept trying to keep track of all the time. When it came down for drug warfare, when it came down for warfare in the Central America to South America, it didn't affect me all that much. How should it? How could have? Maybe it should have. Because we were getting the drugs down there. Until we learn how to manufacture the crap out here for decades. And we still blame Central and South America for the shit. Oh, maybe you should. But now we got task force outside Colombia and Venezuela saying, give us your best shot. We got a new aircraft carrier ready to blow you to hell. And Hagstaff and Trump are like, if Billy Joel was actually able to sing a song or invent a song, what the hell could he have said after the 1980s to up to this point? REM would be singing It's the End of the World as we knew it. But this is where I'm saying this to my classmates. I'm saying this to the professor. We haven't seen shit yet. I'm 59 years old and I don't want to see the damn thing. I'm scared of what the hell's going on after this shit. Later, guys. That being said.